Alright everyone, this is Morgan Blackpowder. Welcome to another day in the life of Eve. This time we'll be covering Planetary Interaction, and I will be showing you how to get from basically nothing to having well, I guess I'm going to make an Amar fuel block. Why Amar? Because if you ask around, that's probably one of the better POS structures to use as the base, just because it has so much power grid, and there's plenty of other places where you can do some research and find out the pros and cons for each of them, but suffice to say I will be making an Amar fuel block. And we're going to be building that with about 90% of the materials required come from P.I., so that's what we're going to do. You may be wondering who the hell this guy is in front of you. This is my alt, Dr. Feelgood. And I guess I am introducing him to you real good. There's a song in there somewhere. Anyway, let's get up. Whoa, what's over there? Anyway, we're going over here because we're going to be doing the P.I. with the absolute worst possible ship we could possibly do P.I. with, which is the Prime A, which is right in front of us. The Prime A happens to be the ship that they gave away introducing P.I., and when we get in the hangar, I will show you exactly why it is the most useless piece of crap on the planet. But we'll be taking the most useless piece of crap, and we will be doing something intelligent with it. So, yeah. And for those of you who thought this was all internet spaceships, it's not. There's actually an Avatar engine that looks fairly decent. I can't wait till they actually put some game behind it. But right now, I just walk through 100% of the game world, so there you go. But yeah, we are actually people, and see, look at, there's our pod. We actually have a pod that we're in. That's not actually us. So let's get in the pod. Now you would think that I would come over here and touch this thing. Well, you'd be right. So there we go. Getting in the pod. Waiting for the loading to happen. And then the pod flies into the ship. Oh my. And now I'm already undocked. This was not the best plan. I was hoping to be in the hangar. Anyway, here we are in space. We're going to go to... oh, please tell me I have safe spots. I do not have safe spots on this character. I can't begin to tell you the awesomeness that is about to ensue. Right then. Well, guys, here's a quick impromptu tutorial about how to make some safe spots. So, first things first, we're going to pull up the map, and we're going to go to the solar system map, because we only care about this star at the moment. And we've got a pretty flat system, but we do have that gate way the hell down there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to fly from you are here all the way down to the Egfy gate. And what we're going to do is halfway in flight, we're going to add a location. This is going to make a bookmark. So we would like to warp to this gate. And all we need to pay attention to is the screen right here. We don't even need to look at space. Don't look at space. It's just space. It'll be there. Space is space. But when we get about halfway there, we're going to hit add location. Come on. Gotta warp. This thing's kind of a tuna boat. I'm warning you ahead of schedule. Come on. There we go. And booyah-shaka. Submit. Well, for those of you who wondered if it would happen the moment you clicked or the moment you hit submit, apparently it happens the moment you hit submit. So that doesn't do us much of any good, does it? Alright. Let's fly back somewhere over here. You'll do. Come here. And... warp to location. Okay, we're going to have to be quick. We're going to have this ready. Ship is turning around, righting itself, getting the speed. And right about there. There we go. That is a fairly decent safe spot. Well, okay, there's different layers to this whole thing. This isn't really a safe spot. This is pretty much just a midway point. And the whole thing about a safe spot is you're trying to make it a little bit difficult to scan yourself down. So we've got this spot in space that we should warp to. So if we close the map, close this thing, open this thing, there is our spot. So let's warp to it. I said, so let's warp to it. There we go. Okay, so we're basically warping to the rough halfway point right there. So now we're going to warp over here to this thing. And we're going to do halfway between that. Wait for us to get out of warp. There we go. Now we can warp to this. Blah, 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 blah. One no looks... yeah, well, you know what? We're not going to be spending much time there, so it really doesn't matter. So we're going to do this. We're going to do the add location. Get ready to move. Right about there. And let's rename that one. We're just going to call it Mark II. Okay. So now we, as soon as we drop out of warp, which we're about to do. Oh, look at their stuff over there. Nope, no time for that now. We're making safe spots. Alright. So, Mark II. Let's do it. Alright. So we can get rid of the Mark I. Which is that one. Okay. This is beginning to be a safe spot. Because notice we're not really on a path from anything per se. But it's really not that safe because anybody up here would be scanning down and they're probably going to think that we're here. So this isn't the safest of spots, but we're beginning to get a safe spot. But anyway, that's a brief impromptu tutorial on safe spots, but this is relatively safe. Okay. And besides, we're in a 0.6 system. There's really nobody out here that's going to try to scan us down and kill us. But these are the kinds of safety precautions we should think about taking for the world of P.I. Because the greatest returns come from low-sec and null-sec areas, places where people will want to shoot us. And this ship is a sitting duck. Anyway, let's see here. We were going to do actual planetary interaction. So let's get that back. And I got permission from a fellow member of EVE University who made this website to share it. So feel free to go here. I'll provide a link for this in the notes. This is the Planetary Interaction Task Force of EVE University's web tools. They're kind of old, but they've been updated, and I have yet to find a better website for planetary interaction. By the way, if you find this and you like this, feel free to send feedback to Turin Bay. He's the guy who made the website. Really awesome guy, very approachable, loves to teach people things. So one of the reasons why you should join the uni. We have good teachers. All right, advertisement over. So let's look up a system. First of all, what do we want to make? We want to make a fuel block. So use this tool to build the production. I don't think that's going to help us. I introduced this too soon. Alright then. What we want to make is a block. We want to make an Amar fuel block. So what is an Amar fuel block? Amar fuel block basically consists of coolant, enriched uranium, heavy water, helium isotopes, excuse me, liquid ozone, mechanical parts, oxygen, and robotics. Out of all of this stuff, helium isotopes are the only thing, and heavy water. These are the only two things that you can't make with planetary interaction. They come from ice. Liquid ozone actually is probably in that as well. These three things are the only things that you can't make with P.I. They're going to be from ice mining. We're actually not going to ice mine for the sake of this. We'll probably just purchase these three things when we're ready. So we need to use planetary interaction to make mechanical parts, oxygen, robotics, enriched uranium, and coolant. So for this episode, and this is going to be multi-episode because this is going to take some time, so these will go up as production permits. So we need to make coolant, we need enriched uranium, mechanical parts, oxygen, robotics. I would say the easiest thing to set up is oxygen, so let's show you that first. So now the question, now that we know what we're making, what would be a good place to do that? Well, now we flip to the star map. So we're here in good old Aldrat, and of course everybody who listens to this is going to know exactly where this P.I. is, and they're probably going to try to camp it to blow me up, because I'll probably release these as I make them, because people want to see this, so I don't know. Don't get any wild ideas. Don't forget, I've got alts. I've got friends with alts. If you prove to be a problem, we may prove to find a solution. Also, well, actually I don't have a lot of money on this character, but trust me, I've got an alt with about 2 billion ISK. I can hire people to make your life difficult. Alright, that being said, what looks nice and low? Now this is all risk versus reward, so the lower the sec, the greater the return. These are all pretty close, actually, these low sec systems. If we wanted to travel a bit, could head out here to Pirate Sec, as I call it. This area is kind of known for its low sec pirates, Totafron, Ivadi. Let's see. Yeah, I remember blasting people through there. So let's try to avoid that if we can. Alright. I don't know. These are starting to look pretty good. Endon is 0.4, and so is Erstedt. So there's not really an advantage to getting out here and only having 2 ways in. We can go over here and have 2 ways in and be much closer to high sec stuff. Okay, so it looks like Endon is a good choice. So now that we know we want to go to Endon, let's look up the system. So, system name is Endon. Let's find some planets. Boom! Here is a breakdown of all the planets in the Endon system and what they have upon them. Then this block over here tells you what we can make at this system. We can make all of these things here. Stations in system, there are no stations in system. Neighboring systems, like I said, 2 ways in, 2 ways out. That would be 9 in Weirdelin. So, all the information we need at a glance. Excellent. So, let's see. We wanted to make coolant, I think it was. No, that's my inventory. That's boring. Market. Block. Amar fuel block. And the thing that makes it a Damar fuel black versus a Caldari Galente are the ice. The stuff for the P.I. is pretty much the same for every fuel block. It's the ice materials that are different, in case you were wondering. That's because of the geographical location where those ice fields are. But again, we won't be covering ice for this exercise. So coolant. We want to make coolant. So we go back over here, and we find coolant. And if you don't find it here, there's other ways you can do it. But I was hoping to get lucky and just pick it off of this list. I think it's a P1. It doesn't look like it. Is it a P2? Is it a P3? P4? Maybe you can't make coolant here. Alright, well, it wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong. So what if we go to the commodity tree? Commodity name. Coolant. Get me a tree. Alright, coolant. So to make coolant, we need electrolytes and water. Now see, here's where it gets interesting. You can get electrolytes from ionic solutions, which you can find on gas and storm planets. You can get water from aqueous liquids, which happen to be on temperate, ice, gas, oceanic, barren, and storm. Well, if we want to make coolant, we should do it all on one planet, because otherwise we would have to pay a bunch of money every time we remove things. Whenever you remove things from a planet or you put things back down on a planet, you use money because you go through a customs office. So the more things that we can do on the planet, the better. So in our perfect world, we would like to make our coolant all on one planet so that we can start with nothing and just draw coolant from the planet, much like a giant air conditioner. So the only place that happens is a storm planet, because notice that is the only planet both of these have in common. By the way, this is recently fixed in this system. In this website, we can actually see the commodity pricing if we ever just said, screw it, we want to buy some coolant. So that's kind of cool, but I want to make some coolant. So we need a storm planet. So if we go back to our Enden system here, there is a storm planet. And it has aqueous liquids. And wait, ionic solutions are what we need. Storm planet. Ionic solutions. We can make coolant on Enden 7. Okay, so now we know where to go and what we're making. Welcome to most of the battle. We also know it's a storm planet. So let's go back to the station, dock up, and get ourselves a command center. Because once we have a command center, we can then set up our little train set. As a complete aside while we're warping, you may wonder why my avatar's name is Dr. Feelgood. It's kind of a drug connotation. Well, there's drugs in the game of Eve. There are combat boosters. They are mostly illegal, at least the good ones, in Empire space. But that's where they sell for the most. Go fig. So if you ever want to get in the drug trade, stick around. I may do a series on that. So we've got back to the station. We're docking up. Docking, docking, docking. And I want to enter the ship hangar. There we go. Much more familiar view to those of you who regularly play Eve. Okay. So we want to go to the market. That's my inventory. We want to go to the market. And we want to buy a Storm Command Center. Notice they're not that expensive, 174,996. Now, also notice on this character, I'm purposefully not running with a bunch of cash. I've got 22.5 million ISK. This isn't a lot of money in the world of Eve. And if you've been playing for a while, this isn't an unobtainable sum. So I want you to know that you don't need to be super rich to do this PI stuff. So, like I said, this station, or this command center is only 174,000 and some change. So we're going to buy it. So we buy it, and we're going to put it on our ship. Now this ship, because it was a gift and was one of the first ships to have different cargo holds. It used to just be cargo was cargo, and you put stuff in the cargo, and it was great. But this one's a little different. So it has a command center cargo hold. This cargo hold can only hold command centers, which is why it's called that. I know, shocker. But the tricksy thing about this is that's going to be just fine for what we want to use it for. So we have a command center, putting it in the command center hold. Notice it's 1,000 meters cubed. We could hold 2 command centers. We're going to do with 1 right now because we don't know what it's like over there. This isn't a very good ship, and I'd hate to just be in the middle of telling you guys how to do things and then blow up. So 1 command center is fine. So this is actually everything we need to start PI on our storm planet. So we're going to undock, and we're going to head toward our target system. So we'll just hit up the map. We want to go to Endon. There's Endon. Set as our destination. And in the immortal words of our ancestors, let's rock. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not talking about our mining ancestors, but actually the rock and roll ancestors. Okay, course is set, laid in, tuna boat is humming. For those of you who regularly play EVE and maybe aren't noobs, you'll recognize this as a Noctis, but with a completely different paint job. This is where the Noctis came from. By the way, this is really weird playing this game after watching a whole bunch of Doctor Who. Just saying. Draw your own parallels to that. Alright, so we're at the gate. We are going to warp. Warp. Think with the warping. There we go. Jumping, warping, words, I don't care. Alright. Made it here. So now we need to go to Weirdolin. For those of you who watched my mining with the Venture video, you'll notice this is significantly fewer jumps, which makes me happy. And ooh, pretty blue star. I like the blue stars, but I like the blue solar systems better. Which you would think I would hang out in Caldari space for that, but I don't. Whatever. Space is space. There is lots of space. Find space you like. Go do PI. Alright. Jumping. Jumping. There we go. Next stop, Endon. This is the last bastion of civilization. Alright, so let's warp to 0 on that. I want to pull the trigger manually. So, tell us about the ship. Okay. Let's see. Show info about the ship. This is your basic Prime. The actual capacity of the ship is only 100 meters cubed, but we've got that nice Planetary Interaction command center storage facility, which is always great. Planetary commodities, we can only hold 1,000 of. Command centers we can hold 2 of. We have 100 meters cubed for everything else, which is retarded. Doesn't have much in the way of resistances, more damage bonuses. Its trick is it has a pretty low signature radius, which means it's pretty hard to scan down. That's its only line of defense. I know what you're saying, this is crazy. So, call me maybe? I don't know. The destination system is a 0.4 security status. This is extremely dangerous, and Concord police cannot guarantee your safety there. Do you want to proceed? Fuck yes. Because no one lives forever. So now we start paying attention to local. There is one man in local. Do we have any safe spots? Hell to the no. Okay, well, we want to go to our planet as fast as possible, because I doubt he's camping it. I see some hobgoblins out here. And it looks like somebody may have been popped by the gate. Good times. Who is this guy? He is obviously wanted with 3.3 million ISK. Member under the wings of Fury. Security status negative 9.1. In space, no one can hear you shit your pants. You are a master of comedy. Right, so if this guy finds us, chances are he will try to kill us. So here's what we do. Oh, by the way, that is the customs office right there. So this is also why we pumped our planetary interaction skills. So we flew to the planet. We're going to planetary mode. We're actually not even going to give a shit about what is on the planet or what is not on the planet and what is good and what is not as good. We are simply going to sit here and we are going to build a command center, a storm command center, and we're going to build it right here at the North Pole. Why? Because I am a crazy mofo. So there we go. We now have a command center on the North Pole. So we can now leave, and we can also head to Weirdlin and get the hell out of here before we get blown up. Now, see, the beauty of the planetary interaction skills, which I will talk about when we are safe, is that we don't have to be necessarily near this planet to make modifications to it. So we're going to go somewhere safe right now. Safer. The only safe place in Eve is docked up. And even then, I wonder sometimes. But at least in the next system, if he follows us and tries to blow us up, he will probably also blow up. Here, that doesn't really happen. Okay, we made it back to the gate. And we need to jump. Why are we not jumping? I say jump. Okay. Much better. So now let's see here. Where is the star? There is the star. We are going to warp to the star. Why? Because it is very bright and annoying. And I don't have to worry about anybody having a POS there with guns that will blow up our ship. Oh my gosh, we're warping to the 0 on the sun. We're gonna die in a fiery ball of flame. Nope. 0 kilometers from the sun is actually not even in the chronosphere. We are close to the sun. We're probably as close to the sun as we can get without dying. But as you can see, we are actually not in its sphere. See, look at that. See, it's hard to see probably in the Let's Play video, but I'm moving my cursor along the edge of the sphere. Right here. Probably much easier to see in a system that didn't have a red background, but that is the edge of the sun right there. And it just gets crazy. So, yeah, sun. Back to our planet. So we go to the map. We go to Endon. Actually, we don't even have to do it this way. Let me show you a better way. There's a better way. We can go to the E. We can go to our business, science and industry. We have a wonderful planet tab, which is right here. And you can see we have a command center on Endon. So we can now view in planet mode. And so here we are, back at the North Pole of Endon. Not much has changed, except that we are not in harm's way. How do you like that? So I promised to talk about skills. Here are the planetary interaction skills. I recommend getting each of them to level 4. Do you have to get them to level 4 before you can do this? The answer is no. Most of these will make your life easier. Remote sensing is good. Why is remote sensing good? This lets you gather and analyze remote sensing data from satellites in orbit around a planet and produce properly calibrated surveys. But see, this is where it gets really interesting. Actually, I take it back. This is not one of the good ones. This is one of the sucky ones. Because it's like, okay, look, level 4, which is what I have, it allows scans within 7 light years. Okay. How do I know I'm 7 light years from the planet? You go to the map, and then you look at it, and you think, huh, Endon's here, Whittlin's here. How many light years away is that? I don't know. Do you know? Is there a way to find out? Not that I'm aware of. So, will this work? I don't know. Let's try it. Okay, so we close this map. We go back to our science and industry off of our business. We click here. We right-click. We view in the planet mode. Okay. You with me so far? So, planet. We want to scan you. We want to scan you for aqueous liquids. And see, look at this. We're getting scan data back. So does that mean we're within 7 light years? I don't know the answer to that question. So anyway, we clicked on scan, and see we've got this wonderful rainbow flavored meter here. Now, when fully extended, it's showing us that there's some concentrations here, 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 and here for aqueous liquids. There's one over here. Here, 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 here. You get the idea. Now, if we shrink the spectrum, suddenly this becomes a lot easier to see. But also not as accurate, if you ask me. This is probably the most accurate, but this is more visibility. Now, if we go back to the skills, skills. Alright. We've got planetology. The understanding of planet evolution, allowing you to better interpret data from scans of planets and resources. This is a really good skill. This skill increases the resolution of the resource data without scanning a planet to allow, when scanning a planet, to allow more accurate surveying. This is why we got this one up to level 4, because even at a full spectrum, we can still see things. If we had that at level 1, you would not see these. So, very important skill. Get this 1 to 4. The next super important skill is the command center upgrades, because, well, let me tell you why. Each level in the skill improves the quality of command facility available to you, in turn allowing for a greater number of connected facilities on that planet. Can I be trained on trial accounts? So make sure you're on a trial. So what happens is this is how many times I can upgrade the command center. So level 4 is what you want, because if you're going to do what I'm going to do and have multiple things happen on the planet, that requires a lot of command facility. So there you go. So then we've got advanced planetology, which is essentially planetology on steroids. This also helps the scanning business. The fact that I have advanced to the fact that I have advanced planetology to level 4, again, instrumental in letting me see that there's actually stuff here without even fine-tuning. So it's kind of important. So I would say your top 3 are planetology, advanced planetology, and the command center upgrades. Interplanetary consolidation is kind of cool. For each level of the skill, you may install a command center on 1 additional planet. So when you start out, you can have not even own the skill of interplanetary consolidation and have one planet that you can do PI on. Which means if you get to level 5, you can do 6 planets. I have it at level 4, which means I can do 5. And we'll find out if that's good enough for what we're trying to do. But those are the skills, and they're not that hard. I think I trained this character up in, oh, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks? Maybe 3 weeks. I got everything to level 4. So this isn't a big time investment in the world of Eve. Alright, so Aqueous Liquids. There's actually a lot of them right there. But you don't really necessarily want to go for the highest concentration, because these concentrations move. I mean, this means there's X amount of aqueous liquids here, and we know that there's more aqueous liquids here than there are here. But the thing is, if I set up here and I set to extract the ever-living crap out of this one, I can possibly pull it down. And when it gets down, a other resource will pop up somewhere else. So these spots kind of ebb and flow. So on one hand, the school of thought is you don't want to bank on the pure highest concentrations. But, excuse my yawn. It's actually not that late here. It's only about in the mid-afternoon or so. Obviously, I didn't get enough sleep. So the other school of thought is put your extractors where there's a wide swath, because then as it flows, it's not so bad, and you kind of stick within a general area. Like this, see, this is a good spot. We've got a large concentration here in a wide area. But we don't just need aqueous liquid. We also need, I think it's ionic solutions, which, as you can see, are nowhere near, was it ionic solutions? Ionic solutions. Yes. Okay. Which, as you can see, are nowhere near where the good aqueous liquids are. So you have a bit of a conundrum. There is a bunch of them over here, though. So if we build somewhere over here, we should be able to reach these, and we should be able to reach these. And that is what I'm interested in doing. So, let's build. First thing we're going to want to do is have a launch pad. Actually, do we want a launch pad yet? Maybe we don't. Maybe the first thing we want to do is extractors. So we want an extractor control unit. Now, see the gray sphere around my control unit? That is the max distance the extractors will reach. So we should put it probably somewhere in here. And then this will cost us 45,000 ISK to make. And see, it shows you what it's using on the power and CPU. That's fine. But we don't just need that. We also need aqueous liquid. So we need another extractor unit. And it can probably live, oh, I don't know, right about there. Yeah, maybe there. Alright, now notice we've almost already used the power and CPU usage in our command center, and all we've done is drop 2. So we're going to go back to the North Pole and hit this guy up, and we're going to upgrade him to level 2, I think. Let's see. Why can't I upgrade you to level 2? Oh, you have to push the upgrade button. Herder. Alright, so we want to upgrade this to level 2. See, that kind of helps us out. See where it's going to drop the power grid and the CPU on the meters. Now, this is going to cost about 500,000 ISK. Okay. There we go. Got some breathing room. So, back to experiment land. Alright. Oh, and submit, of course. Alright. Now you are currently extracting nothing. Survey for deposits. We would like to install a head. Oh, we would like to look for aqueous liquids, please. Thank you. So now we've got another decision to make. We need to know how long our cycles are. So I'm going to do a week-long cycle because I intend to only look at this on the weekends. Is this the most efficient way? Probably not. So what if we go to exactly 7 days? There we go. Okay, so exactly 7 days. You can see for the first couple of days we're going to get a lot, but it's going to start diminishing over time as it sucks the things out. Now, as you can see, if you put it like over here, you get jack. But see, then you start getting the stuff, getting the stuff, getting the stuff, getting the stuff. And so some areas are a lot better than others. Ooh, see, like, look at that. So if we do one there, and we do another one here. Now, see, you can't really overlap these because see all the static that that's creating right there? Let me move this out of the way. See all the static? That's going to decrease your flow. So you want to just kind of play the bubble touch game. Okay, so this is making about 2,746 units a turn. Well, an hour. And so it's going to make a total of 4,600 and some change. Now, someone told me once that and this may be totally wrong, so I'm also going to post actual tutorials on Planetary Interaction done by Eve University. They are actual tutorials intended to educate. I'm mostly entertaining, but you might be able to pick it up from what I'm doing. But I was told that you want to keep this to about 2,000 units an hour. And the reason why is because that's the capacity of the factories. So let's get this up in the air a little bit. Because otherwise stuff is wasted, and we don't like waste. Come on, give me 2,000. That's close enough. Okay. Program is going to output 2,000 units an hour. Perfect. Install program. So now what's going to happen is these little extractor nodes are going to be gathering the aqueous liquids, condensing them here, and then they're going to ride these little ant lines all the way up to here, the extractor. Kind of cool. Alright, so now next step. We wanted to look at the ionic solutions. Oh, and we're committing that change. Setting up the extractors actually doesn't cost that much. Okay. So now we're here. We want to survey. We want to survey for ionic solutions. And we want an extractor. We want 7 days. Okay, 7-day program. Now, whoa. 2005, close enough. Okay, so we're going to install that program. Okay, and we're going to submit. Now, our intention is we want to take these things, and from them, we want to make the coolant. And we want to store as much coolant on this planet as possible so that when we grab it, we grab a fuckload of it. Because let's face it, there were bad guys out there. So, we want a storage facility. And we want to put the storage facility midway between these guys. Right about there. That's going to cost 250,000 ISK. Okay. Now notice how we're, again, getting up there in terms of our power usage. So we should probably upgrade this again, which now is going to be 930,000 ISK. I'd be curious to see if anybody is playing along at home and knows exactly how much ISK I'm spending on this, because I sure haven't been paying attention. Now I can upgrade this, I believe, to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can probably upgrade this thing to level 5 in total, because I've got it at level 4, but we'll see. Anyway, we're doing good. Keep up the good work. Somewhere down here is our stuff. Okay. So, now what we would like to do is we would like to link these. We want them to extract everything and dump it here. So we create a link. Create a new link to there. And we want to create a link. Create a new link. Now notice this isn't, let me show you. This isn't free. Or, see the distance, the longer it is, the more power and CPU these take. So you want your distance lines to be as short as possible. Okay. So now over here, I believe we can go to routes. Nope. Products. Okay, aqueous liquids. So this produces aqueous liquids. We want to create a route. And we would like a destination to be here. There. So now aqueous liquids, when they're made here, will be deposited over here. This is good. So now over here, we want to go to products. It's producing ionic solution. Let's create a route. And we're going to dump them again right here in our storage bin. Okay, so now everybody is making something and they're dumping it in our storage bin. So now we can start producing things. We head back to our handy dandy tool over here. We know that the aqueous liquids we can turn into water. That's going to require a factory. And the ionic solutions we can make into electrolytes. That's going to take a factory. And then we're going to need a different factory that takes electrolytes and water into coolant. So we're going to use 3 different factories. Just minimize that. So, let's submit that change. Okay. Processors. Now, I believe what we want is under the basic. So, step 1. Basic. Submit. Okay, you. Schematics. Water. There we go. Requires aqueous liquids. We're going to install that program. And we need to make a link. Create a new link. Back to here. Now links are actually two-way highways. So let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to go with here. We're going to go with routes. So we get these aqueous liquids. And we want to create a route. And we want to send them over here to the factory. Oh, it's 3,000. Did you see that? It was 3,000 that it does, not 2,000. Okay, we can adjust. So now over here, it will be producing water, and we're going to create a route to there. So it's going to take 3,000 water or aqueous liquid and dump back 20 water an hour. Okay, So now that well, that's a good thing. I didn't know that double-clicking would send you over there, but it does. Alright. So, let's submit that. Submitting is kind of like saving. Survey for deposits. Okay. We need to stop this program. Can we get 3,000 from just the 2? It does not, in fact, look like we can. But we can get very close. Like that. Install program. Okay. So now what you're doing is ionic solutions. So submit that change. Basic facility. Right there. Submit. 75,000 is gone. Schematics. Electrolytes. They're made from ionic solutions. Output per hour makes 15. It takes in 3,000. Let's install that. And create a link. New link right to here. See, these links are very small. We're saving money on these. Okay, so now we have ionic solution, which is now going to go over here, create the route. And now over here, we can go to products. It'll be producing electric lights. We're going to create a route back to here, create the route. All right. Submit. So, we are now producing water and electrolytes, and we're dumping it back into our facility. Now, we need to do... Isn't it advanced? I think it's advanced. Well, this is a 250,000 ISK experiment. Coolant paid off. So it takes in 40 electrolytes and 40 water. So every 2 hours, this will produce 5 coolant, roughly. So we install, and we submit, and we create the link, and we create a new link, and we're linking right there. Submit that. And so now we go back to here, routes. We're grabbing electrolytes, creating a new route. They're going over here to the advanced facility. And we're going to do the same thing. Routes, water, create route. Over to here, create route. Okay, so we're getting water in. And we're going to be making coolant. And coolant, create route. Oh, destination here. Create route. Alright. So now when we click on here and we go to routes, we should see, yes, we have coolant incoming. Congratulations, everyone. We have made a planetary interaction facility that takes ionic solution and aqueous liquids, turns them into water and electrolytes. We're making Gatorade, essentially. And then it turns that stuff into coolant. I mean Gatorade. I mean coolant. So as the week goes on, this will churn and burn, and our coolant will be in here. Now see, we've almost gotten our power usage up to max. I know, I could have did the cool double-click trick. Haha, see, look at that. Okay. So we want to upgrade yet again. So you can kind of see what's involved. If you want to do everything on one planet, you need that upgrade skill. So now that we've got it to level 4, come back down over here to our facilita. Alright. What we want to make now is a spaceport. Because once we get all this lovely coolant, we would love to send it somewhere. To that customs office, for example. So this is 2.1 million ISK. I think our total cost so far has been under 8 million ISK, so this really isn't that big of a deal. Anybody can get into this. So we want to go links, create a new link, right to here. And see, this only holds 10,000 meters cubed. Our storage facility holds 12,000 meters cubed. So they're a little bit better. But what we'll do is we will take our incoming coolant and create a route to the spaceport. Invalid. Cannot route from storage to storage. Use expedited transfers instead. Aha. If we don't need this link. You can upgrade links. I don't mess with it. Feel free to mess with it if you want. I don't think we need a link for an expedited. And we'll find out later. But anyway, that's everything we need to make coolant. So I hope you enjoyed this. Next episode we'll be doing another planet and making a different P.I. and another and another and another. And once we get all the P.I. churning and burning away, we'll then buy some of the ice and we'll start get going and we'll start making some fuel blocks. So let's close the window right there. Yes. We're still at the sun. Eggfee, I think, is on the way home. I probably should be using autopilot. Yes, Eggfee is on the way home. Excellent. So I won't bore you with flying home. This has been Morgan Black Powder on the USS Space Junk, taking us through the world of planetary interaction. Stay tuned for the next episode.